A career is a job or profession that someone does for a long time, or it can be a period of time spent in a job or profession. And because we spend a lot of time on our jobs, most of our fulfillment and happiness is derived from it. Today, I will talk about how to do what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you are good at. Something I learned from the book Ikigai and from Ali Abdal's interview with behavioral scientist Dr. Grace Lordan and his interview with Ellen Chopper, the author of Squiggly Career. Okay, so guys, in today's video, we are going to be talking about a number of activities that you can perform or a number of tasks that you can perform to figure out the best career that is suited for you in a way that you won't just pick a career just to pay your bills alone, but you will pick a career that is fulfilling, that is refreshing, and overall that is enjoyable. So the first activity is the time audit activity. The essence of the time audit is just to find out how you use your time, the activities that you spend your time doing, and how refreshing those activities are. So the major point here, the focus here, is to streamline the activities that are enjoyable to you, that you love doing, and that are fulfilling to you, and to identify those ones that maybe are necessary but you don't really enjoy doing. So what the time audit is all about is you sitting down. You can just pick a day, or you can pick a random place. Maybe you can go out, find a calm environment to do this activity, and ask yourself that in previous jobs I've worked at, so if you're like a fresh graduate who does not have any experience, maybe during your internship or a community that you volunteered for, or any activity that you've performed, or even in your day-to-day dealings with people, ask yourself that, okay, when have I been the happiest? Or what are the activities that I've performed that were fulfilling to me? So ask yourself that, what are those activities? Note them. Were you talking to people? Were you giving a speech? Or were you designing? Were you drawing? Or were you coding? What were these activities that you did that you found fulfilling, that were refreshing to you? Note them. Now, the next step is to find out the people you did it with. Maybe you attended a conference and you really enjoyed yourself, or maybe you were a speaker, or you enjoyed listening to people, or maybe you had a meeting. Who were the kind of people that you did these activities with? Note them. So that might show you if you actually enjoy working with a specific group of people. Because some people love working with people that are driven. So when they are around people that are driven, they are always motivated, and the work they carry out in such environments are always fulfilling. While some people love a calm environment. So people like that will probably gravitate towards a more friendlier atmosphere. So that's the essence of the time audit, to find out the activities and the environments that you spend your time in that actually adds to your energy and brings fulfillment to you. Now, the final thing to now do with the time audit is ask yourself what a perfect day is like. Don't be scared of going into the detail. Go into the detail. What is a perfect day like for you? It can start from your morning routine. What is a perfect day like when I wake up? Are you a morning person? Are you a late night person? What is a perfect day like? What are the activities that will make a normal day perfect? So that's the final thing to do. And the next thing is the Odyssey Plan. The Odyssey Plan is trying to figure out your me plus. Your me plus was a concept that Dr. Grace Lordan really spoke about in the interview. The idea of your me plus is just to envision your future self, that if everything works out, where will I be? So the idea of your me plus is just like your grand plan of where you want to end when everything works out. So to arrive at this, there are 3 questions you will ask yourself. The first one is, 5 years from now, if I continue down this path, where will I be? Or where will this path take me? While the next one is, 5 years from now, if I continue down a completely different path, where will I be? And the last one is, 5 years from now, if money and societal obligations was not an object to me, that is, if I was not influenced by money and societal obligations, where will I be? The idea of this Odyssey plan is to work with the last point, that 5 years from now, if money and societal obligations was not a problem, like you are not thinking about those things, the decisions you will make when money and societal obligations is not a problem is probably the most fulfilling decision you would ever make. Now, the thing with that is that sometimes the things we want to do, if money was not a problem, are things that not all the time we necessarily pay the bills, because it's necessary for you to have a career, that takes care of you and, sponsors or takes care of your lifestyle. Now, the end goal is to have a job or have a career, to have a life that is not centered around just making money or centered around just, looking nice to people. The goal here is to feel fulfilled. The goal here is to be happy with whatever it is that you are doing. That is the end goal. So this will take me to the next section of this video, and that is some key things that you should note when making a career choice. I have a list of 7 things that you should consider when making a career choice. The first one is task over title. So now, the mistake a lot of people make is that they get attached to a particular job title. Like, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a pilot, all these fun titles. But they don't really ask themselves that, what are the things these people do? The thing that makes up these jobs are not the titles. The things that make up these jobs are actually the tasks that people do in these jobs, the activities that people perform in these jobs. Being a doctor is a fancy role, but you might not necessarily enjoy the day-to-day of a doctor. So what you want to do when picking a career is to find out the activities that they carry out on a day-to-day basis in that career. You don't want to get attached to a job title. While the next one is your passion, your purpose, and pay. The book Ikigai explains it better. This book, it explains it better. So on the back here, we have what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you are good at. And at the center is what you should do. So now, your passion, your purpose, and your pay. These are things that you should consider. So if you are passionate about something and you can build a career around it, and lucky for you. But if you are passionate about something, but it is something that maybe it is not good enough or strong enough. Actually, there's no passion, sorry. There's no passion that is not good enough. But if you are passionate about something, but it is something that you can't necessarily build a career from. Let's assume somebody who loves spelling. Maybe you love spelling a lot of esoteric words, but you can't necessarily build out a career from spelling a lot of esoteric words. So you might want to look for something, that has a little bit of your passion, a little bit of your purpose. That's what you can give to the world, and a little bit of what can pay you. And just find your way around, something that is in the center of it. Now, you can't always have it 100%. You have to, make some compromise. Your strength is something that gives you energy, while your weakness is something that drains you. So you might, enjoy doing something, but after doing it, you feel so tired and you just go to bed and sleep immediately. That is not your strength. Your strength is something that when you are done doing it, you feel energized. So if you have a career, what you should look at is, are my strengths in this particular field that I want to go into? Are the things that energize me, are they there? Well, the next one is just the old thing about what the book, The Squiggly Career, is all about. The idea of this book is that the only way does not have to be up. So she talks about the career ladder, where people just get stuck in trying to climb the career ladder. So you enter in a junior role, and you try to go up, you become senior, more senior, and more senior. The only way is not up. You can go sideways. You can start a new career entirely. So the only way does not have to be up. The moment the only way you see is going up, you might get stuck in a career that is no longer bringing you joy, or in a career that is no longer bringing you fulfillment. Well, the next one is, I think it's just the basic thing. Like, it's very easy. Just open yourself up. Be flexible enough. You should be open to more opportunities. You should be open to opportunities. You can't just, afford to limit yourself to a particular part. Some 50 years ago, it made perfect sense to finish from school, get a job, and just stick with that same job for like 50 years. Now, the times have changed. Like, it is no longer like that. A lot of people have their 9-to-5 job, they have their side hustles by the side, and they have a lot of things that they do by the side. So you don't have to be, too rigid with yourself, that you just encave yourself to just a single part. There's nothing wrong with being, with actually exploring. Yeah, so I think in the interview with Dr. Grace Lordan, they mentioned Thomas Gilovich and his idea of the spotlight effect. And what this entails is that people are not really paying so much attention to you the way you think they are. A lot of times we feel like if we make a career decision, if we change our career path, or if we change our mind, that what will people say, what will people think of us and all that. But Thomas was like, people are not really paying attention to you. All these things you are thinking about is actually in your head. We spend so much time in our head, imagine so many scenarios of what people will say, what people will think, and what people will do. Meanwhile, people are not actually thinking about all these things. They are busy with their life, busy trying to figure out their life, busy trying to, move ahead the same way you are busy trying to figure out your life. Now, the second to the last one is the flywheel principle. So the idea of the flywheel principle is that actually a flywheel is something that is a mechanical component that is usually not easy to start, but the moment it starts and it starts moving, it's also not easy to stop. So the idea of this is that the focus is not to have it all figured out. Just start. Like, just get started. You don't have to figure out the perfect career for you, because really, no matter the number of people you talk to, you will not really figure it out completely. So the idea is just to find something that does not suck right now, something that you kind of enjoy right now, and just start doing it. Then along the way, as you start gaining momentum, and you start discovering the things you enjoy and the things you don't enjoy. So that way it will be easier for you to make a decision. It's easier to steer a moving vehicle than to steer a stationary vehicle. The last thing I will talk about today is hobbies, like hobbies and side projects. There's been a misconception, and maybe it was true in a time, that people who have side projects and hobbies are usually less committed to their 9-to-5 or to their day job. Now, the idea has been proven wrong recently, that people who actually have side projects or hobbies that energize them. Let's take, for example, Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran is a musician, he loves music, but his side hobby is painting. He also loves painting. So now side hobbies are like things that energize you. So movies is not always energizing. It might be something you do to pass time. Scrolling Instagram, scrolling TikTok might be something you do to pass time, but it is not always energizing, because by the time you are done scrolling through Instagram, TikTok, and watching movies, you will probably end up tired. So scrolling through Instagram, watching movies is not always energizing. So you might want to find that other thing that is energizing. So after your draining 9-to-5, you just want to go back to it. That will replenish your energy bank for the next work day. So that's the idea of your side projects and hobbies. Yeah, so overall, how you choose to approach life and work is entirely dependent on your perspective of work and life. And yeah, talking about perspective, I recorded a video recently where I talked about perspective and how our perspective shapes our life. If you're interested in that, yeah, you can click the link on the screen, and yeah, I will meet you there.